Hello everyone, today we're using a Scream clutter list that still wants to use a White Widow. But before you hear me out on why it's still good, I am live right now on twitch.tv/TLSG Jump over and join me if you want to see some live Ford content. I would love to have you. We've been having an absolute blast as I'm going live every single day in October, and I would love for you guys to join me on those streams. It makes it go by so much faster with you guys and all of the positivity that flows around there. But as far as the deck explanation, White Widow, I was the first in line to say she's garbage, throw her in the trash. I think that may have been a bit hasty. With White Widow offering 6 power of value for 2 cost, it is such a big tempo swing that now they have to really look to forcibly cap out that location. And you can use that kind of pattern of where they're playing to really dictate and guide the rest of your gameplay to find ways to win or kind of play around where the opponent is gonna play much easier. So I am probably as surprised as you, but this list went 12-1 in my testing. I dropped 1 and it was a 1 cube loss. I had a net cube gained in those 13 games of 30. So well over 2 cubes per game average and about a 86% win rate is insane. Very good early stats. Of course that can change, but White Widow felt amazing in almost every single game, being able to give us the kind of those guiding factors of how we can push power, where we can push power, and how much range the opponent is going to have. The overall list is looking to do a couple of things. If we get a Scream down early, we have some counter movement plays, so the move Disrupt in Polaris, we have Stegron, and we have Cannonball and Arrow, of course. All of those help serve the Scream, and we can utilize those in a way to make sure that the opponent is having a lane capped out. The rest of the deck is your clutter components, and we have Hood, Titania, White Widow, we have Kate Bishop, which can be a fantastic either move or clutter tool. We have the Green Goblin, Viper, and then I forgot to mention him, but he's also very important. We have the Miles Morales, and so we have a lot of 1-cost cards to be able to resummon Titania back, as well as dropping our Cannonball or Arrow on the last turn, and overall, it has felt phenomenal. We are doing so much impact on the board. We clutter one lane and we control the other, and it feels great the entire time. We're gonna go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. These locations are definitely some locations of all time. I know I wouldn't say that they're good. Barely say that they're even locations. Let's go ahead and go Kate Bishop. Next turn we can go White Widow plus other things. Now with Zabu, they're probably the most common thing that I've been seeing is the Namora stuff, and with the Acid Arrow, that play is going to be Nomura. Let's go Acid Arrow, Green Goblin, clutter up the Scarlet Spider, clutter up this left lane. If they say, you know what, we're going to pivot and do Namora like over here, then we do have the second White Widow coming their way on that next turn, and I think we should grab priority off this. Let's go ahead and snap it before it gets any further along, before we really start sending that full force clutter their way. And then once that force starts, it's really tough for it to stop. So 1 card in the left being Copycat, which stole our Hood, or copied our Hood. Excuse me, all habits die very hard. All right, so the Green Goblin in left, the Acid Arrow. We could Polaris, that's not great. We can Stegron Slap plus like a Pim Arrow just for giggles in the right lane. And Stegron Slap's going to clear one of these two out of here, push it over into the Scarlet Witch lane, maybe opening up space for us to do Polaris, White Widow, Miles all on the last turn. We could also just do Cannonball Miles and be fine. And so let's go ahead and lock it in. I think they're in for a rough spot, because Namora decks, if they can't get Namora off, they lose all Fizzle. And then all of a sudden, it's just kind of a bunch of uncohesive cards. And so Namora decks have to come in very particular meta conditions to be able to just flourish. And unfortunately, we're running one of the decks that just does not care about the Namora stuff. And so Killmonger coming in, taking the Acid Arrow Wait a minute. And then what do they have in mid? Scarlet Spider goes to the right, and then Jeffrey. Good old Jeffrey. We're in the lead by 8 here. This is technically an 8 power play with the White Widow, as long as they don't cap out this location, which feels decent. I don't think we need the cannonball, honestly. Can't see how they fight this one out. Let's go White Widow. Then Polaris and Miles, just in case. Because when we pull like Jeff over here, if they don't move him, we're going to pull him. He's going to be -1 after the -2 from here and -2 from here. Just don't see how they flip that back around. And so let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to full send it. Let's go. They do only play 1 card in left, and so the Widow's Kiss will stay at that -7 monstrosity. Jeffrey is going to be -2, buffing up our Scream as well. Misery, okay. Misery loves a little bit of company, but that Green Goblin can get out of here. We still win the right lane. We win left. We win mid. They have right lane. We win mid. We win left, and we will take the 4 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. This was close. It came down to that Polaris pool, and then just having the really big tempo swing of the cheap White Widow, which can be so oppressive if they're not running a deck that can fill the entire board. We'll take it. Let's jump over into the next. Next up, we have Splendid Pigeon. We do have a Viper, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a Hood into the left lane, and we'll eventually push it over onto their side of the location. The main goal with this game is going to be, glad we didn't lose Viper, my goodness. They lost Gwynpool, which is devastating. They could have a Killmonger. This could be a like Sarah counter style of build. Let's go ahead and go Green Goblin. The Nakia should be fine. As long as they can't clear all the clutter we're going to send their way, it's going to be really, really tough for them. Nakia is a 3-cost card, so we can't Polaris it. My brain is set that she is still 2-cost. So Grandmaster to re-trigger Green Goblin. Fortunate. Good play, but unfortunate nonetheless. Psylocke as the last card they played in the right lane. We do have priority, so a good arrow will rip Psylocke over. We could also do this number. That opens up the door for a Cannonball last turn. I assume they play at least 1 card here, but if not, we capture it with the Titania. I'm going to go ahead and lock this in. I don't know what direction they're going with the Psylocke on 4 6-cost card. If they hit us with the Galactus, I'll be very shocked and slightly amused. But they do go with 1 card in the left, the Wong, which was the Wong decision, my friend. Not gonna be able to do it for you. We do get the retreat. That Splendid Pigeon will give us a couple of cubes. Let's jump over into the next one. Next up, we have Hazard, the first location negative zone. Fantastic for the White Widow, as we saw in an earlier game. They have Maria Hill, so they're going with a Wiccan deck. White Widow is no longer the queen of Kamartage, unfortunately. Just is what it is. She lost her crown. It's okay. Sometimes we lose crowns. Let's go with a Kate Bishop into the right lane, and then we'll see. Potentially doing a Green Goblin right next turn. So Maria Hill into the Shadow King that was generated. They're really trying to make sure that they play on curve here to get the Wiccan down. Wiccan here, wicked good. Give them so much energy. But maybe we can get them into a position that's bad enough that they won't be able to make much use out of it. Let's go Green Goblin right, and we'll see from there. So big speed coming into the left lane as fast as possible. And then this turn, I assume we see a Wiccan. A very quick Wiccan, I imagine. We can go Basic Arrow, Viper. Depending on if they play a card here or not. will dictate or determine kind of how we position ourselves after the fact. So getting an arrow could be good. Yeah, Wiccan. Very kind of transparent. It does give them an ungodly amount of power. They can do an ungodly amount of things here. But fortunately for us, they're going to be... their right lane is a lost lane. So now it's just being able to win from that point. We don't want to drop Polaris anymore. Hood? Did we ever go Hood? Probably not. We're just going to lock this in and see what happens. My goodness, a double Gwynpool. Okay. We need a Cannonball top deck, and then we're golden. Cannonball top deck, and we're golden. So we grab priority with the White Widow left. And so an Alioth, no longer an issue, no longer a concern. Hood pulling into the right lane, unfortunate, but we still have the lead, and it gives us a Demon. Use alongside the Cannonball we top deck here. Cannonball, the 1 out of 4. Believe in the heart of the cards. We have no bad cards. That is a bad card. You can only drop 2 cards in left. What did we draw? What did they play last? The Zabu? You can only do 2 cards here max. And it does get rid of their Widow's Kiss. Do they ever have a Claw? Bring this up to 10 in the right? They could steal it away with a Claw, yeah? The double Gwynpool also scares me a lot. It's only 1 additional cube, so we are going to see it play out, but I think we probably lose this one. The single play in mid, scary. Claw when we lose to it. So Zabu left going down to -1, and the 22 power Alioth into the Shang-Chi left is not going to be enough. We are going to be able to hold this one down. My goodness, they should have Alioth to the left, not in mid. Mid, they already had a hefty lead. They were maybe anticipating the double Cannonball, which we didn't draw into. And so thankfully, we had the better winning play in the left lane with the arrow. We'll take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have good old Agatha. The first location is the hub. It gives us Elsa Bloodstone. Ooh, they have a Red Hulk, Emperor Hulkling. Interesting. Good gamble, my friend. We get a second Scream. So for this one, I think we're going to prioritize playing her out a little bit earlier than we might otherwise. And then we're going to look to do some kind of counter movement stuff, because it's going to negatively afflict their cards like atrociously. And we're going to just enjoy it all the way to the bank. Now, Danger Room, pretty good for a White Widow, because then they're going to have to risk several cards in that lane. I assume they have... If we get Stegron, we slap the Electro away. The gods heard me. Thank you, Ben Brode. Personally heard me. Called out my mission. Let's go, Stegron. They're going to do a Misery over here. I feel it. There's a potential that they do a Blink, but I feel the Misery, and that is going to be miserable for them. Let's slap the Electro over into Time Theater, and then we can look to do whatever play we're going to. No, it's a Blink. Ah, man. We shouldn't have blinked. Maybe they... Okay. Maybe we snapped, and they were like playing super heads up. They played Misery into mid. No. Just Jubilee. Okay. We're okay with that. We got so cooked, you guys. It got so cooked. All right. So we go Titania into... Titania into Elsa. No. Titania into... We go Miles. We go Kate Bishop. That pushes the Titania onto their side. We can pull it back. We have the White Widow, which I think is going to be great in the Danger Room. Now, they could maybe they go ahead and play Odin here. Would be crazy. They play it super early. They could also go Alioth if they want to finish capping out this location, I suppose. No, just the Emperor Hulkling left. So that's good so far. We cap out this mid lane, and now it's going to be a fight of... Can we win this other one? So Cannonball is great. Let's see. They go down to 15. This goes down or up to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we win mid off of this play alone. And then we can do... what? White Widow attempted a Polaris. I think that's our play line. We get at least 4 negative power here. And so since our Miles has already landed, I think we're in an okay spot to be able to steal this one away. It was a beautiful Jubilee misery pool. It was miserable for us, but beautiful for them. I think we're in, hopefully in the clear. The Pim Arrow, as long as my math wasn't bad, is fine. Magneto pulls Miles, so we need at least 1, maybe 2 of our cards to land in the right lane. So White Widow, we need Polaris. We'll take the 8-cuber where we can. The big Magneto was good for the Miles Morales, but the Widow's Kiss, giving them -4 in a lane that they can't otherwise easily cap out, is such a beautiful play line. I thought I was going to hate White Widow, but I absolutely love the card now. I love it about the same as I loved it before, just for different reasons. Now it has more of a power impact, still a crazy amount of impact for a 2-cost card. Let's jump over into the next one. Next up, we have Ambush, and hopefully we ambush them with a bit of clutter. The first location is Titan. We're going to go ahead and skip turn 1, even though we have the Titania. Never want to play her early. She's one that you want to really be able to control, and only play her if you're very confident that you're going to cap out that location. Let's see, they go with a Yondu, so a good old middle deck. We lose our Hood, but that's going to give us a better chance to draw into like White Widow, Green Goblin, Viper. There's all of our clutter tools. Let's go Kate Bishop here. They're going to set up a misery play. I assume they're going to set up a misery play into Titan. We might be able to Polaris or Stegron slap it away before it happens. And so Hala, we don't really want to play anything there. I think instead we're just going to go Green Goblin mid. We're going to try to put as much negative onto their board, and hopefully they don't play into Hala, so that we have priority going into the turn 4. It doesn't look like it. So they do play into Hala with Baron Zemo. So they're going to draw our White Widow. And so at least we get rid of the Widow's Kiss. Could have been bad, but now we don't have to focus on it. They could do Misery here. They could do Misery here to clear up the Green Goblin. Let's just go Stegron. Or maybe it's Stegron mid. I'm going to go Stegron left. I think they Misery mid to get rid of... No Gladiator, okay. No Misery for them. We get our Scream destroyed. We do have Polaris and Cannonball left in our deck, so our heavy hitters. That's the bad thing with the current iterations of Mill, is that it's going to give the opponent their higher end cards. And so if they're able to combo off of those, then they can laugh all the way to the bank. I'm worried about a Misery play now. We could pull it away. Do a Viper, Acid Arrow, Miles Morales. Take up one of their spaces right. They do go what? Misery? No, Lady Deathstrike. Okay, interesting. Okay, so big power here. But what is their finisher? What do they finish on? Go Cannonball mid, then a singular card to the right. Hope that that's enough to swing it for us. We're going to have the surprising turnabout play in mid. They go Shang-Chi to the right, Gladiator, or Death to the left, and that is not going to be enough. And we continue to keep our streak alive. I don't think I can keep this going. That is 12 wins and 1 loss for an absurd amount of cubes. That makes it a 30 cubes out of 12 games that we've gained. I can't go on. We're gonna go ahead and have to end the video there. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.